Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. I would like to thank you for attending today's Brady Insurance Marketing Career Information Session. Before we go ahead and get started, I wanted to let you know that today's webinar will be recorded and you will receive an email later today with a link to view the recording. Feel free to rewatch or share with any colleague who you think might be interested in learning more. We will also be having a Q&A session after the presentation. Now you'll notice that you're muted and you will be muted throughout the course of the call, so please use the chat feature to send over any questions you have. We'll get to as many of those as we can. Thank you all again for joining us, and now let me turn things over to Ty Brady. Ty, take us away.
Hey, thank you, Miles. Hey, thank you all for being on the call today. I am the owner of Brady Insurance Marketing. And for those of you that may not know me, or maybe you follow me on social media or one of these platforms we posted this event on, I am the owner of Brady Insurance Marketing. I'm a national marketing organization. We operate in all 50 states. We primarily focus on people aging into Medicare or already on Medicare with the health insurance or under 65 health insurance. And today you're going to have two people tell you a little bit more detail on what we have to offer as an organization. We have currently about 3,000 contracted agents that have a contract with us, and we train 6,000 to 8,000 agents each and every year on how to achieve a six-figure income. When I started in the industry 15 and a half years ago, my mentor told me, he says, hey, you can make a six-figure income in 3 to 5 years. That process has accelerated with COVID and the opportunity for the baby boomers that are out there. You know, I've had agents achieve a six-figure income in residual. What I mean by that is before they get out of bed, January 1, they're making $10,000 a month. They've been able to do that in a short period of time, 18 to 3 years. Everything that we do is agents get paid directly by the carrier, and they own their own book of business from day one. But like you, I listened to an opportunity. I was actually selling a guy a vinyl fence, and he said, hey, Ty, you should check out an opportunity in the insurance market. And some of you, I think on the call, are insurance licensed. And I looked at that. And the first agency I was with, I was there for about a year. And I would go out and sell a deal, and I'd make $100, and the upline would make $300. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do this forever. I walked away from about $40,000 in commissions because I was captive. I didn't own my own book. Then I transitioned to the broker world, which is what you're going to learn about today, where I found my mentor, Ron Kellogg. That's our contracting agency that does our contracting. But Brady Insurance Marketing follows under that. So a couple of things you're going to learn today, if you want to flip that slide for me, is what brought you here. You know, what are you looking for? You know, are you looking for financial freedom? Are you looking for free time? Are you looking to spend more time with your family? What brought you here? Who we are. You know, we want to make sure that anybody that comes on our team, it's a good fit. It has to be a win-win. We're not good for everybody. Why Medicare? You're going to learn that there's 12,000 baby boomers turning 65 a day in this country, and they all need to select an insurance plan. Why health insurance and where it's going? Our product portfolio. We do add a number of different products that you can add to like a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare supplement. How do we do this? Ways to do this? What are the benefits of becoming an agent? Why work with us? And the keys to success and what we're looking for. Again, like I mentioned, we're not a good fit for everybody, but thanks for jumping on this call. And, you know, for all of you, I'm going to turn it over to Craig. He's going to give you the bigger picture on why Medicare, what the commissions look like, what are the systems and strategies that we use. We do know that agents that plug into our systems sell 40% more than the national average because of the systems and strategies we employ. And the systems and strategies are a little bit different for each person. So after people come on board, we like to have what's called a game plan or a one-on-one session on what works best for you. If you like to do remote sales, as an example, you like to do face-to-face, you like to do retail, you like to do direct transfer. All of those things are things we have to offer, but we also like to say you need to have three different marketing strategies so that your phone is ringing and you have calls coming in as well as you're doing outbound reaches or you're networking or referral partners or those types of things. So thank you for being on the call today. We always look for a win-win. We need you to be successful. We don't get paid to recruit. That's really important. We only get paid if you make money, the upline makes money. That's it. And you get paid 100% of the street commission. It's that simple. Craig, I'm going to turn over to you and let's rock and roll.
All right. So as we're going through, I just want everybody to think, why are you here? Like, what brought you here? Was it you want to make more money? Was it financial freedom? I mean, everybody's different. Like, we have agents that come on board and they just want to make X amount of dollars to where they can, you know, support a golf habit, or maybe they want to get that new car or make some more money to cover their house payment. Everybody's different, and everybody, like Ty was mentioning, has a different strategy and where they feel comfortable at. So just think about that as we're going through everything. What brought you here? And then if we're a good fit for you, great. Like Ty said, we're not a good fit for everybody, but the people we work with, we make them successful. Here's just a little bit more about Ty. So Ty's been in the industry over 15 years. Brady Insurance Marketing was formed in 2012. Ty and his team recruit and train agents in all 50 states. And obviously you can tell he's passionate and loves what he's doing to help agents successful. Myself, Craig Valgartson, I've worked in the industry 7 years now. Main focus has always been working with seniors, developing relationships, referral partners. I go fairly heavy on referral partners. That's just what I like doing. Everybody's different. Some agents like working different types of leads. And then currently I just assist agents build and grow their book of business as well. John Fuller, you'll hear from him after. He has worked in the insurance industry for over 13 years. John has experience in most all aspects of the business. So health insurance, life insurance, having successfully completed Series 6, 63, and 65 security licenses. He's worked in property and casualty as well. John enjoys recruiting, helping develop agents. So our mission is to help agents grow their business and become successful using the effective and efficient systems and strategies that we've developed. So we'll go through some of those. Obviously, everybody's a little bit different on how they work, but we'll target that to everybody. Why Medicare? So there's nearly 12,000 baby boomers turning 65 every day. If us as agents just got one day and we were able to write all those 12,000 policies, that's what, over $6 million worth of commissions looking at the Medicare Advantage side for that first year. And that's going to continue for the next 17 years. So right now is a great time to get in on the boom, then it's going to die off because obviously the baby boomers are getting older. So it's just another sales opportunity. So probably 95 to 98% of every product we sell is lifetime commissions. So once you write that policy, as long as they stay on the books, you continue to get paid. Very, very loyal customer base. So you write it once, you stay in contact with them, different marketing strategies throughout the year. That customer base is loyal, very few lose. I think we lose less than 10% every year from our book of business that we have to replace, and most of that's towards death as well. Very little customer service. So once somebody gets on a Medicare program, yes, for the first couple months, you're helping them get everything set up. Then after that, once they start using the product, they rarely call you unless they just need help with like a billing issue or their lifestyle's changed and we need to look at different programs. And then huge market and growth. Insurance portfolios. So we offer Medicare supplements or Medigap policies, prescription drug plans, and Medicare Advantage plans. So we are appointed on both sides of Medicare. So it doesn't matter if your client, consumer chooses the Medicare supplement side, we can get them those products, or if they want Medicare Advantage side. Other agencies just focus on one or the other. We focus on all three. So we have that option to go in, we educate people on the differences to Medicare, and ultimately the choice is theirs. So we don't care what they choose as long as they're happy and they understand what their insurance covers and it works for them. Our portfolio, we have additional products as well. So life insurance products, ancillary products. So a lot of the Medicare Advantage come with dental, vision, and hearing programs, but the supplements have just discount programs mainly. So you can get additional products that we're contracted with for just dental and vision policies, hospital indemnity products. So that's Aflac is kind of the main name in hospital indemnity, similar to those. Cancer, heart attack, and stroke. So those are one lump sum policies that pay out if they have something happen, and then short or long-term care if they go into a care facility. So those are additional products that you can add additional commission to as well if it works for their situation. Why health insurance? So health insurance or ACA, health insurance has lifetime commissions as well too, and John will go more into depth on the health insurance side. Same thing with the customer base, very, very loyal customer base, little customer service needed. and then huge market. So John will kind of go over the numbers on the market and then the potential for doing both Medicare and ACA and how they tie together as well.
I'd like to throw out a number here, just to kind of give you an idea of the market growth potential in the ACA space. Of course, we're talking about health insurance. Sometimes people get a little confused or unsure what ACA is, but we're just talking about regular health insurance, otherwise known as the marketplace or the exchange or Obamacare or whatever you call it. But think about this, 2.4 billion people. There's 2.4 billion people on this planet right now that are considered Gen Z, okay? Now, I don't know how many of that is exactly in the United States, but it's an awful lot. And the thing to consider is that these people are from 26 or 12 to 26, now probably 13 to 27, I think. These people are starting to age out of their parents' policies as they're growing older. And so every year we have, from this point forward, people that are aging out of the even having the option to having coverage from their parents' policy. So from here on out, we've got plenty of growth markets and that's just with the Gen Z aging out. There's always, this is an active group of people under 65. So these folks are generally, losing jobs, gaining or moving, getting married, having babies, these kinds of things that will give them the opportunity to enroll during the year. So there's definitely a continual market for health insurance. Let's go to the next slide here. There we go. So our portfolio on health insurance, we offer products both on and off of the exchange. So some people who might not qualify for tax credits or might want an option that's less expensive or cheaper, something not on the marketplace, we have lots of options that are off of the marketplace. Okay, so it's not all just marketplace ACA contracts. We are also able to offer options for people who want other options. Short-term medical, major medical alternatives, we're not going to go into right now. Just know that we have a long list of alternative carriers with alternative products that can help these people. We have national and international health plans for US and non-US citizens. So we can pretty much help anybody in the world with health insurance, whether it's somebody who lives here, who doesn't live here, a senior, somebody who's under 65, whether they're self-employed or employed. It just depends on the situation, but we can offer something to anybody. There we go. And so continuing on our portfolio for health insurance, we do have life insurance options of all types. So that would be like term insurance, permanent insurance options like Index Universal Life Guaranteed, Universal Life, Whole Life, all of that except for variable life, of course. And then we have ancillary products like dental and vision, accident and disability, cancer, heart attack, stroke, and short and long-term care. These are all going to make sense for the families and people who are under 65 and are getting regular health insurance on their own, because health insurance in general doesn't cover dental and vision, so you're going to want to cover that, at least for adults. So you're going to need some dental and vision. Accident plans, disability to help cover the large gaps of the deductibles and max out-of-pockets, cancer, heart attack, stroke concerns, and of course that can be covered with life insurance as well, with living benefits, and the same thing with short and long-term care. So we have plenty of options to help cover all of the medical expenses in regards to health insurance and the gaps that are missing there. How do we do this? We do this by phone and virtual appointment. Self-direct enrollment, that means like somebody comes to my website, they do their own shopping and enroll themselves in a plan. Retail and events, so that means you're working potentially at some kind of a grocery store or pharmacy or something like that. You have a table, out somewhere. Maybe you're working at some kind of community event or something like that, that's a retail setting. Home visits, we do still visit people in their home. And office appointments, of course, it's getting more and more popular for people to come in and visit with agents in their offices. And then, of course, meeting right on the streets. We're always want to teach and train our agents to talk where your feet are. And so that could be the person standing next to you in line or the person that you're sitting next to at the game with your kids. You know, if you just open your mouth, you just, you know, you never know where opportunity lies. Benefits of becoming an insurance agent, six-figure income, folks, just like Ty was talking about at the beginning. You know, I've been doing this almost as long as Ty, and I remember that same conversation back then when I started. It was all about getting to that six-figure income as quickly as possible. And folks, it's become even quicker these days. It's, you know, agents are reaching that figure, you know, in 1 to 2 years rather than 3 to 5 years. You know, it just depends on the agent and, you know, how they want to market and sell themselves and what part of the business they want to get into, but it is definitely becoming quicker and easier to get to that six-figure income. And of course, you get to be your own boss as well, right? So that means that you make your own schedule and you have all of the other benefits of owning your own business, you know, with the write-offs, tax write-offs and things like that that you get to do when you are a business owner. So there's plenty of benefits of being your own boss. I remember when I made that change myself, I've never looked back. It was the best decision I ever made. I'm very happy to work for myself. I don't think I could ever go back to punching a clock. So it's those are some of the great benefits and rewards for becoming an insurance agent. Minimal investment. This is if you're not licensed, just realize that it's pretty inexpensive to get your license. In most states, it's under $300 on average, depending on what kind of study materials you buy from where and how much your local fees are at your state that you live in. But on average, $300 or less, which is a very low investment for starting a business. And of course, when you own your own business and you become successful, that gives you stability and the ability to support yourself and predict your own advancement, you know, for the future. Why work with us? Well, there's lots of reasons. Here's some of them. We've got lots of back office support. We have a full dedicated staff here to help assist with all of the things we might need, like contracting, IT, and compliance support. We offer training like no other. We have direct mentorship, working directly with the manager that you are working with. So, you know, you have access to them on a daily basis to help guide you and support you in increasing your business. We have on-demand training, product training, webinars, and in-the-field assistance, and annual business development conventions. So we really do go out of our way to do training in all ways to make sure that you feel comfortable and confident in your skills and your abilities. Our marketing programs, we help you to develop a marketing program based on your strengths and the way that you would like to do business. You know, this is an important piece to, you know, make your own business plan because everybody is different. What's going to be successful for one agent might not be successful for the next. So we want to make sure that we are understanding how we can best advance our own business. Technology, we have lots and lots, all the technology you need, agent portal, Medicare, health, life, quoting systems and enrollment tools, lead integration, free websites, robust CRM. So we pretty much have everything you can think of in the technology side of what's going to help you to improve your business. All of the lead programs that you can think of, we have, whether it's direct mail, warm transfers, data leads of all types for both life, health, and Medicare. As well as some proprietary lead programs that we've developed. So we've got lots of lead systems. We'll be happy to dive into that when you work with us one-on-one. Commissions, just like Ty was saying, the important thing here is we work with independent agents. So you own your commissions. You get paid directly from the carrier. This is your business. And remember, you're building a business. So, you know, part of this is that you are a business owner. You're building something that's valuable, something that you could eventually sell if you wanted to. So this is a real business. Let's go to the next one. All right, we got some commission information here. So Medicare commission for the Medicare this year for 2025, the first year commission is going to be $626. That means when somebody signs up with Medicare for the first time, or a Medicare Advantage plan at least for the first time, you're going to get a lump sum upfront commission of $626. Starting January of the following year, you're going to receive renewals. And that renewals is $311, which is somewhere just over $25 a month that you get on a monthly basis ongoing for the lifetime of that member. As long as that person is alive and continues to have that policy, you get paid. So very, very awesome, powerful residual commissions with Medicare.
Hey, John, I just want to
yes.
John, can I say one thing here? The average policy stays on the books 13.3 years. What I mean by that is you write it today, it stays on the books 13.3 years. Craig indicated that you get about a 10% fall off every year. So if you have 100 clients, you're going to lose 10 of them. But you got to keep in mind, we lose those to death. We lose it to people that move out of the service area. And then I call people, they're just lifetime switchers. They'll switch every month. They'll switch every year just because they think they're going to get something better. And, you know, there's nothing you can do about those permanent switchers, but you can do something about, you know, the people that may move out of the service area. You could get licensed in that state and rewrite them. And then obviously you can't do anything when we lose them to death. But 13.3 years. And, you know, when John and I started this, we always talked about get to 500 because commissions were less. We've had an increase in commissions every single year since Medicare Advantage plan started. So, I mean, when John and I started, it was 6-year commissions, then it was 10-year commissions, then it went to lifetime commissions. So that's why we're talking how agents can really accelerate that 6-figure income in 18 to 24 months, even 3 years, whatever they're willing to work.
Yep. And, you know, also on the next one where it says our goal is to reach 100 policies a year, that is still the number that's the number that Ty and I were trying to hit 13 years ago, 15 years ago, right? So that number, although that is still our goal, that's actually, I would say, a pretty low bar these days, right? That, you know, that's totally possible to plow past that these days, because there's agents these days that are doing that in one AEP, believe it or not. So, you know, I would say, yes, we want to at least try to hit that same goal that we've been trying to hit the whole, you know, for as long as Ty and I have been in the business, but honestly, you can do more.
Yeah, John, there's outliers, right? We call them outliers, those agents. I have an agent that sent me a text message yesterday, day before yesterday. He's like, I had $110,000 deposited in my account since January 1. So, I mean, that's what I mean. 90 days, he's at $110,000 in 90 days. And that's what it's about, right? So there's outliers. There's some agencies that, you know, not agencies, but agents that'll do 300-400 policies, but they're working all year round. They're hustling. They're spending a lot of dollars. I mean, they may be taking like $50,000 a year as a salary and dumping $100,000 into leads, whatever it is. But the sky's the limit. That's the point. Whatever you're able to, it's time or money or both in this industry. You're either spending time, the grind, when you're not at your day job, or you're grinding every single day doing it full time, but it's that daily grind that you're doing, or it's money, or it's a little bit of both. And, you know, it's sometimes it transitions. Sometimes agents like, hey, I don't have a lot of dollars right now. And I was that agent. I was taking leads out of a trash can that agents threw away that said they were no good. And I was running those leads and I was closing about 60% of them. So they said they were no good for whatever reason. I took them and ran with them. So that's the idea. I mean, but I had the mindset, bleed the lead. If you follow me on any social media platform, you'll hear more about my story and what I went through and how I built this thing from the ground up day one. But this is all about you and for the money you can make and the money you get paid directly so that you can achieve whatever you want, whatever that dream is. My mentor, you know, John's mentor, Craig's mentor was all the same. He says, listen, if you want the big house, the RV, all the toys, I want you to have it too. And that's what we want you to have as well.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, the thing here is that it's only getting faster and easier, right? So like these numbers are really old goals and old numbers that we've held for a long time. But as Ty's just mentioning right there, we got people that are doing this 350 policies easily within the 2 years, and sometimes even 1 year, depending on the agent. So we've got some really amazing potential in the Medicare space these days. Let's take a look at the next one. So health insurance is also very lucrative. It's a bit of a different process. You know, these folks, you are still receiving a lifetime commission. The commissions are there for as long as the policy holds. But the difference here is that these people are under 65, and so life is happening more often to them. So they typically have more life changes. And so turnover in the ACA space might be a little higher than 10%. It might be a little closer to 15 or something like that, or 20, depending on your book of business and, you know, where you live. But at the same time, the year, because of those same life changes, right? So because people are moving, losing jobs, or having kids, or getting married, or whatever it is, what have you, there's plenty of opportunity to write new business. But your average commission for your health insurance is $20 per person per month, up to a family of 5. Okay, so that's an average of $120, or up to $120 for one family per month. Your average household size being about 2.25 when you're looking out over a book of business of 100 or more. So that, you know, that increases the 240 to like 480 on average. Your goal here, we're trying to maintain the same goal, policy count as a goal. You're going to be making, you know, up to $48,000 in your very first year of residual income, with the, you know, very similar income potential of 120,000 plus in 2 years easy. Now, this is also going to vary depending on the state you're in. The commissions can vary between $20 to $30 per person on average, depending on what state you're in. All right, let's go forward. Okay, some habits of successful entrepreneurs. This is just some good information for anybody who wants to be successful in any kind of business. You know, find a proven system that works. You know, try not to reinvent the wheel. Try to find somebody that, or a company or somebody that you can work with that's going to have a system that you can dial into. Value is important. You know, you should, people respond to people who have values and morals, and you know, are able to present them. So, you know, the more value you have, you can present that to your customers or consumers, and they're going to sense that from you, and it's going to help to drive your business higher. Be persistent. You're never going to make it. In fact, most of the people that are in this business fail because of lack of persistence, if you ask me. I mean, Ty just gave you a really great description of how hard he worked to get where he was at the beginning. You know, we all have to kind of put in that effort, especially when we're getting into a new business or a business that we own as a business owner, and be persistent to make the success happen. It's not going to fall in your lap. You have to make it happen. So you got to stay focused, right? Stay focused, keep your eye on the prize, what it is that you want, and you got to motivate yourself. I mean, I think one of the hardest parts about this business is self-motivation. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of agents tend to not get the rewards that they're after, is because of lack of motivation and lack of focus, and persistence for that matter, you know. So all of these habits are going to help you to get to that Dream 100. I'm going to talk about the Dream 100 on the next slide, I think, here.
Hey, John, one thing real quick before you get into Dream 100, I want to tell you one other story that just came to mind. So we talk about getting to a policy count of 300 to 500 people. I had an agent, he was a school teacher, and he was teaching an entrepreneur class at the local high school. And what he ended up doing is he ended up working Wednesday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays, and he got to over 500 policies in less than 18 months. So it is very possible you do it part-time, but and what's interesting is that in the beginning, he's like, oh, I'll continue to teach. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. 2 years ago, he gave up teaching and went in insurance full-time. He retired his wife, who was a registered nurse, making about $180,000 a year, and was able to, you know, then build his dream house or buy his dream house. And then, but he was able to do all these things part-time, working 3 nights a week. And what we did is we sat down and we came up with a lead strategy system. We came up with what he was willing to do. And he can tell you, he's very data driven. He can tell you the exact dollar amount that he spent for what he got in return. And now he's making over $500,000 a year. He's building a team, but that's the potential that people have. Now, he had to go to work. You know, the one thing that Craig and I and John can't do is do it for you. But if you have a willingness to learn and go to work, the systems and strategies work. There's too many people turning 65 a day in this country that need help. And I relate it to real estate agents. Real estate agents, there's 1.4 million real estate agents in this country, 1.4. There's less than 80,000 agents with the top insurance provider that help people aging into Medicare. So you look at risk reward, 12,000 baby boomers, where do you want to be? The 1.4 million and competing against that? Or do you want to be one of the 80,000 competing for 12,000 baby boomers turning 65 a day in this country? And Craig also said that's equivalent about almost $6.5 million in payable commissions a day. You just need a small fraction of that. And if you're willing to do the work, we have the systems and strategies that you can plug into and make it happen. We have hundreds of agents that have done it. We have agency owners that are making seven figures, over hundreds of agents that are making multiple six figures, and they've done it in a short period of time. And that could be you. Just, are you willing? Are you willing to do that work?
I love that story. Thank you for sharing that story, because I'm going to use that story. That's a really good one. So thank you for sharing that. So what is Dream 100? You know, very simply, this is like finding a niche market, I guess, if you will. Like, what is special about you, and what are 100 people that you can locate in your world that are going to help you grow your business? These can be referral partners, strategic business people who are centers of influence that can help send you business. It can be, there's many different aspects of how people can help you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a direct referral partner, but the idea is to involve yourself with your community and find other business people that can help you grow your business. All right, what are we looking for? We are definitely looking for licensed health insurance professionals. You do have to have a license. If you're here right now and you don't have a license, hopefully we've given you enough reason to go get one. So definitely it's worth your time and money to have an insurance license. And that's what we're looking for, is people who have that active with a high level of integrity, an ability to relate to mature audiences. So, you know, I remember Ron Kellogg, who was our mentor, he always used to say, if you wanted to work in the senior market, you have a calling, he'd say, to want to work with seniors, you know, self-motivated and success-oriented and possess skills of motivation necessary to generate new business. Okay, always one of my very first trainers when I got into the business said, activity breeds results. You have to beat every bush, right? You have to be motivated in order to be successful. Long-term commitment to this business. This is not going to happen overnight, folks. Yes, we have had agents get more successful in the first year, but that takes a lot of effort, and you know, not everybody's willing to do that. So if you're not able to put in the huge effort to get that success in the first year, you're going to need to put in the commitment to make it happen over 2 to 3 year period. Computer skills, you got to have at least a little bit to be able to do this job these days. And just like Ty was just told that great story, man, part-time, full-time, or sometime, you know, it's available and it will work for anybody depending on the time commitment that you've got. But even a part-time commitment can lead to a huge success in this industry, just like Ty was talking about. Next steps. Fill out the new agent data form that we've got and receive contracting links from us. And then let's work on getting you contracted, getting your certifications completed. And that there's also, I'll throw in there, there's some certifications for health insurance as well that you'll need to get done. And then get your writing numbers for the companies that you're going to work with. And then attend some training, agent training. We do a continual training every single week. As I was mentioning, we have all sorts of training. So you want to keep get with us on the training and then write some business. And I think that brings us to our question and answer section. So if you want, I think we were mentioning you might want to just go to the next slide where we've got our information, and then here I think we are going to answer any questions that you may have.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Ty, Craig, and John, for all the great information shared with us here today. We are going to leave this contact slide up on the screen here during the Q&A. I also just dropped this information in the chat. We'll send it over in an email later today with the link to view today's recording. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, if you have questions, want to talk next steps, please reach out to Craig or John. Visit the sites listed on the screen here and in the chat. With that being said, we have had some questions come in throughout, so let's go ahead and get started here. So one of the questions we have here is, how quickly can I start to make money?
I'll take that one. I'll say, I like to say 90 days. I like to be realistic. And the reason why is there's going to be some things that you have to do on your end. You got to get licensed and appointed in your state. You have to be comfortable calling the leads. So, but 60 to 90 days is typically, it could be sooner, but 60 to 90 days is realistic. Unless you've been in the industry and you're familiar with products and you're familiar how it works, there is a learning curve. And the more you can plug in, the more you can plug into the daily trainings, watch the live recording, either watch the training that is live or do it later in the evening. And we also tell agents, take 10 or 15 minutes a day to train. And if you guys have all heard the 100-hour rule, 15 to 18 minutes a day, you'll be 90% better than any of your competitors in any skill. So you want to get better at guitar, it's 10 or 15 minutes a day. It's the 100-hour rule. You want to get better at selling insurance, it's the 100-hour rule. So it's those little things that and look at all those social media things I got for you to watch. You can go watch a little training for 15 minutes. You can listen to it in the car. You can go to the podcast show and listen there. There's so many different trainings you can do, and it's your willingness will propel your success. And that's what it is. How much time and effort do you want to put into this, and how fast do you want to scale it? But 60 to 90 days, unless you guys agree, have a different opinion.
I would just caveat to that, and you said it, but I just wanted to make sure that anybody listening heard it clearly. I think that number is for anybody who is not familiar with the market or has never done this before. I think if you're already currently actively licensed, and if all of this makes sense to you, you're already in the business, and this is just a company you want to work with, it's probably a lot faster than 60 days if you're already licensed, ready to go, and understand what you're doing. But this seems like a good fit to you. Of course, that could be a lot quicker than that.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you both for that great information. Another question here, and Ty, you kind of shared a couple stories here, but on average, how long does it take for an individual to be successful? And again, I'm sure that varies between person to person. Everyone has their own story, but on average.
Well, I'll tell you the national average for an agent, as they say, it's 30 policies is an average, right? So you got agents that write hundreds, you have agents that write in between, and then you've got the average. But 30 is an average. So if you look at 30 is an average if an agent does it for 5 years, he should have 150 policyholders. You do the math, 150 times $25 a month, that's what that agent's making, $3,000 or $4,000 a month in residual income. So that's only 30 policies a year. We have agents that are writing 30 policies a week. So it just depends. So, but I could tell you stories all day from, the stay-at-home mom that's living in a beach house and $500,000 a year to the brother that was referred to as the drunk older brother making $20,000 a month. I could go on for days but they were just willing to go to work and do what it takes, because that commissions we talked about is up for grabs, and who wants it? We're just here to help you.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Ty. I do appreciate it. We had a few questions about leads. Are leads provided, or are individuals kind of responsible for gathering their own leads? If you can kind of touch on that.
We can never supply an agent with 100% of the leads they want and desire. Yes, there are leads that are at no cost. However, they may not be the quality that the agent wants, right? It's just a little bit better than cold calling. It's a name and a number of somebody who requested information about Medicare or Social Security. Now there's direct transfer leads that cost a little bit more money. They range between $35 and $55 a lead. There's 1065 leads that are about the same range. There's ACA leads that we're generating on TikTok, Facebook, or any social media platform for under $5. There's leads that are $8. There's so many different lead strategies that we offer. But I would say in that range, 0 to, I mean, there are leads that are hundreds of dollars, right? I wouldn't do that. And then there's retail kiosk opportunities that don't cost money, but it costs money to be in a retail kiosk, as an example. Or maybe the venue we're at wants they want a cost per transaction close, basically. So there's a lot of different options out there, but you think about this, if it cost me $30 for a lead and I make $626, I'd do that all day, every day. Even if it's a renewal, 10% of the money that I spend, if I did a renewal, it's $311 that I make for a $30 lead. Why wouldn't I do that? So, I mean, I don't know. That's a great investment in my vote. But on direct transfer leads, an example, that are 35 or $55 a lead, agents are currently closing about a 40% closing ratio. So that's somebody that calls you. You don't pay for the lead until you answer your phone. And there's campaigns you can run when you sit down at your office. So some of you are like, hey, I'm doing this type of insurance and thinking about adding Medicare. Well, we can teach you how to run a campaign. You turn the switch on that you're available, and you only pay for the lead when you answer your phone. And then you got a 40% close ratio.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you for that information. Do appreciate it. We've had a few questions about licensing. If you guys could just go over again the licenses that are required, and someone also had a follow-up. Can you only be licensed in the state that you reside, or can you be licensed in multiple states as well? So if you could kind of just touch on the licensing aspect.
John, you want that one?
Sure. So we're looking for active life and health licenses. It's not that we are require people to sell life insurance, but it's out there. Like, the people want it, and you want to have accessibility to sell it. We primarily focus on the health insurance products. So whether it's Medicare or health insurance, that's our primary focus. But we want to be able to at least offer and sell the life insurance portion if they want it. So as far as the licensing goes, we'd highly suggest anybody to have an active life and health insurance license when it comes to working with us. And when it comes to the state that you live in, you just have to at least be licensed in the state, your residential state that you live in. And if you want to just work and grow in your residential state, awesome, no problem. I mean, personally, I say that's the best business you can ever write anyway. But if you also want to write in a different state or multiple states, we would love to help you. And we have agents that do that all the time. I do that myself. I mean, we have plenty of agents that do that, sell outside of their state. So any states that you want to sell in is up to you. We're here to help guide you as far as what states might work for you. Like, why would you choose Indiana over Minnesota? There's several reasons. The market there is going to be very different. Commissions are probably going to be different, especially in ACA. So there's plenty of reasons to choose one non-residential state over another. So if you want to sell outside of your residential state, work with us and we'll help you to develop a game plan for states that are going to work for you.
John, I would add to that is that COVID really changed the game on people willing to sign up over the phone. So we talked earlier that there's websites designated for like plan enroll links so that you can send a link to somebody and they can auto enroll themselves. I actually had 5 people do that last year off my website. I just have it on my website for just because. But I had no idea, and I got noticed that somebody signed up in Texas and somebody signed up in Pennsylvania. And then, it's interesting. I tried calling these people to introduce myself, and I wasn't able to get a hold of them. But there are unassisted enrollment links that you can promote on any website or send to people and do it that way. But COVID really changed it. I wouldn't encourage an agent to go out and say, I'm going to get licensed in 20 states. Typically, agents will do like their home state and maybe a couple of states around, especially if they're on a border state like in Kansas. They'll do Kansas and Arkansas or whatnot, or they're maybe Arkansas, Oklahoma. But the COVID really changed the people's willingness to talk to you over the phone, because you can do text to sign, DocuSign, voice signature, all these different ways to get people enrolled. And you can do virtual meetings where people are more willing to do that. We've seen a big uptick, like John said, people wanting to meet at an office. And I just say, whether it's a coffee shop or you're doing a satellite office, because we're in all 50 states, we say there's an office at such and such insurance agency. If you'd like to meet there, that's a, you know, another agent of ours, because our agents are willing to help other agents be successful. So the sky's the limit, and but I wouldn't encourage anybody to go out and get licensed in all 50 states, because then you're just spending money. Let's make money first. I'm always about, let's make money first, then we can add all these additional things, because we have every product you can imagine. And we have the commission's not even decided by us. It's decided by the carriers. The street commission is what the carriers say. So, and we're not a, you know, we're a lot different. You know, I wouldn't say this, is that we're not a contracting house, meaning you could get the same contract that John and I talked about, or Craig talked about commission wise, and you could call someone up, they'll give you the same contract. We're not a contracting house where we just say, hey, here's the contract, go figure it out. We actually want you to be successful. We need you to be successful, because that's how we're able to do the things that we do with training, because training costs money, lead co-op costs money. That's money that's paid to the agency and override that goes back to the agent. How we're able to offer these platforms that you have access to generate your business, social media, all of those things. So it's to give back and help each other, because we, you know, you've heard this saying, when the tide rises, all ships ride with the tide. That's the truth. And as we all win, everybody wins.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you both for that. Do appreciate it. Question about the onboarding process. Can you tell us a little bit about how that looks for someone that might be, you know, already fully licensed with their life and health versus someone that might need to obtain that license?
Craig, that's you, bud.
Onboarding process, it's pretty simple. So once you have your life and health license, or just your health license, for instance, I just get 4 pieces of information from you. So it would be your name, your physical address, email address, and well, obviously the state that you're in. I just send you out a link. You just create a profile in the portal. You create that portal. We'll have, let's start with, you know, these 3 carriers. Let's get through the contracting process, these 3 carriers. You'll fill out the contracting forms, and then that can take 2 to 3 weeks after those get submitted for us to hear back. Then we'll go through all the modules with the carrier, so you get writing numbers, and then you start making business. So pretty easy on the contracting process. It's just filling out the forms. They get links sent to your email, and then we'll just help you through the process that way. We have a guy in our office as well too that helps with contracting links, questions. We also have people that are full-time that just help with through the contracting process as well.
Craig, if they're not licensed, we do have a discount for WebCE, I believe, that we could send out. They get a $50 discount instead of $189 for a package if somebody wants to get licensed. But you're really at a standstill if you're not licensed. Mm-hmm. But that would be the next step, is we could send you the contract, or not the contracting link, but the link to a set study course, whether you do it online or you find somewhere there locally where you do have to be life and health licensed, so that then we can move forward. But as soon as you have that, then, you know, it'd be like the process that Craig said. We get you in the system and we get you going.
Perfect, perfect. A couple of people have chatted in about, you know, some of the top carriers that you work with, or how many carriers you work with. Are you able to share any information there?
I would say all of them. So United Healthcare, Aetna, Cigna, Humana, Blue Cross, your regional players, you know, Devoted, Scan, what's another one? WellCare, all of them. We have all the contracts. It's just, you know, that's why we have to have a discussion with the agent. There may not be a reason to get one carrier over another. Maybe it's not the go-to plan in that market. The idea is that we know those markets. We're like, hey, start with this carrier. Let's get you making money, and you can add all those carriers as time allows. And that way you're not overwhelmed and you're spending hours and hours and hours going through certifications. In July, all of July for a week, 10 days, all we're doing is certifications. I got to certify with 20 some odd carriers, and they all have their own modules and all their training and all their certifications. And then I've got under 65 health insurance and all those things. So the idea is just, I don't want you bogged down with a bunch of unnecessary, you're not making money when you're sitting there training. You're just learning about products and knowing what's up and coming. So start with a few carriers and add as time allows. There's not a carrier we don't have. Maybe some new ones that we haven't got yet, but we've got them.
I would caveat that there might be, in the ACA space, there might be a few local carriers that we might not have, depending on which state you're in. You know, the states are vary greatly. in the ACA space and the carriers that are available. So it might vary just a little bit depending on where you're at. And I also want to just point out that if you have sold a few policies before July and you're making some residual income, then you are getting paid while you're studying.
Good point, John. You are correct. Yes, we get paid in July because of the residual, but I'm just saying for somebody new, come on now.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you, guys. You had mentioned, Ty, how some of your agents may go out and meet people at an office or, at a coffee shop, et cetera. Does this opportunity, is it more in person? Is it in an office? Is it remote? Is it hybrid? Can you kind of describe, how people work out in the field?
So I'll tell you about a guy that sits at a local coffee shop in a large market, and he's known as the Medicare coffee guy. He literally went to a local mom and pop breakfast and said, hey, do you mind if I come here every Wednesday, put a sign on your door, and we'll have coffee and chat about Medicare? So that's one way. I have agents that won't leave their office, right? It's the whole idea is what works for you. What are you comfortable with? And it's designing a plan. It's a game plan because it's unique and specific to you. So that's where it's like, okay, you want to come on board. What are you willing to do? I got people on the East Coast that won't drive 20 minutes. I got people on the West Coast will drive 5 hours to an appointment to do it face-to-face. We do know this, face-to-face meeting retention rate is higher. Over the phone sales, and if you only do over the phone sales, has about a 50% retention rate, unless you're really good at following up with those consumers. And there's ways to change that. My group as a whole has a 98.3% retention rate. So we don't have the national average of 50% retention rate doing remote. But I have an agent that works in 5 states, and he's done really well working with dental offices that gives him referrals. And he writes anywhere from 40 to 60 policies a month over the phone in those states. Never been to those dental offices. All he's done is worked with the office staff. They know him and trust him, and they send him referrals every single week. So it's not a one size fit all. It's what works for you. Because again, we need you to be successful. We want you to be successful. It doesn't do us any good to spend all the time and money and resources to bring an agent on board. That's cost and overhead to bring an agent on board. And if you don't sell, we all lose. And there's a lot of resources out there to bring you on board. And we've got to have you be successful. I can't stress that enough.
Perfect. I do appreciate that information, Ty. So it looks like, gentlemen, that was the last of the questions that came through here this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you're joining us from. So we'd like to thank Ty, Craig, and John for all the great information shared with us here today. As a reminder to our audience, today's webinar was recorded. You'll receive that email later today with a link to view the recording. Also in that email, you're going to have all the contact information that you see on the screen here, all the links to check out Brady Insurance Marketing online. So be on the lookout for that. We really do appreciate you coming here today to learn more about this great opportunity. We hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will be in touch. Thank you again.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.